If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure at KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Follow the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
I made it like that. I bought it like that. I'm living like that.
Tell me how to make things right, 'cause I just need you in my life, girl. I love you better than yourself, better than you love yourself. I just need your love, baby.
Who gon' love you like I do? That's word. And all the times you confuse my words, you don't listen. You coulda had Christian and Christian Dior. Now you just missing, I'm missing you more. But you knew that I'm the cool cat with the roof back. No, I need you by my side, can't lose that. But you still wanna test the waters, like I never showed you jets and waters on the coast of Florida. So why you wanna act like that? Like I never had your back, his and hers to match. What's wrong, girl? Pick up the phone, saying you not home, leave me alone. Well, f it then, that's my word, I'll never love again. Same time wanting you back, I'ma suck it in. Could've gave you my last name, you want some other. All 'cause you thought I was laid up with some other shit.
Good evening, good people. Welcome back. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And tonight, we've got one of those lineups where we're getting into memory, some image, and the business behind the city. Listen, Brandy, well, before we get into that, happy birthday to Christian Combs. Shout out to him. All right. Brandy is revisiting a relationship a lot of people have whispered about for years, but she's naming it now from her grown woman perspective. And of course, it has the internet's talking. Meagan Good, she's speaking up on a rumor that shook her to her core. Those skin bleaching rumors, all the chatter, and the traumatic beauty situation that actually caused it. And, you know, it is Wednesday where we get all up in the business. And this week, we're taking it home to Inglewood, because if billions are circulating in the city, why does Market Street still look like its invitation got lost in the mail? We're going to talk a little bit about it, right? Of course, because it's facts, context, and culture with a little sprinkle on top. Now, before we get into tonight's topics, you know, a couple of conversation starters. First up, TNT Sports and OWN are coming out with One Golden Summer, right? And this is a documentary about Jackie Robinson West, the first all-black team to win the U.S. Little League Championship. It is baseball season after all. And the fallout after that title was stripped away, right? They'll premiere the documentary. Do I have the date? That would be bad if I don't. I don't. Sorry. But it is coming soon. And if you recall, they had their title revoked months after due to a contested residency boundaries as far as where the children on the team lived and if it was really in bounds for the team. So there is a whole documentary behind it, and it is going to be a platform for the players to share their story firsthand and giving audiences a up close and personal look at that. And of course, you know, I hinted at it Monday. Kind of forgot last night. But I am giving away all the things that you need for a Marvel watch party for Daredevil Season 2. We'll get into those details later. But listen, I hope you're ready. This is going to be a little controversial one, I suspect, because there is a lot more to the conversation regarding Brandy's revelation than just what happened back in the day. And it's a conversation. So when we come forward, we're going to get into those details.
You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2025, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-259-4149. That's 800-259-4149. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-259-4149 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. The midterm election campaign season is here now. The 2028 presidential election is right around the corner. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. It's all in for 2026 and 2028. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm young, but I'm wise enough to
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So first up, if you want to get in on the conversation, 800-920-1580. That's the number that you can dial or get at us on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Or you can hop into the YouTube chat with the VIPs. Shout out to them. They're a whole community already in conversation. So get into it. Now, it is Wednesday, and you know Wednesdays we get all up in the business. So I'm not alone. That means that I am breaking this down with entrepreneur, business strategist, author, owner of Glow and Flow Beauty and Slay Hair, Mr. Damon Haley. Welcome back.
Yeah, the mic is hot.
The mic is hot. So listen, before we get into Brandy and Wanya, I wanted to ask you about a topic that popped up this week. We talked about it last night a little bit, but I left out a key component. We talked about Jaden Ivey. I don't know if you heard about this. He was drafted to Detroit in 22, was traded to the Bulls during the trade deadline this year, and has since been waived because he came out and was against the NBA's Pride Night. Also talked about Steph Curry saying that he's not a Christian and people will see, and along these things. But I saw, and so he was waived subsequently because of those comments. There's also a history of his mental wellness that has been documented. But the thing I didn't mention last night, and I saw a video that probed this a little deeper, I forgot that his mother is Niele Ivey, who is the coach of Notre Dame, correct? I believe it's Notre Dame women's team. And ironically enough, on her team, there is a player, a young lady whose name escapes me at the moment, who has had similar anti-LGBTQ commentary. I'm sorry, y'all. Sometimes I flip the letters. I don't mean it to be disrespectful. So the young lady on the team has had similar thoughts and has been outspoken about that, which is very interesting considering she's playing in women's basketball. However, Niele has had, as a good coach does, has had her players back 10 toes down and has never really commented on her commentary. So some are wondering, in reading the tea leaves or putting together the dots, that maybe this stance is not just something that Jaden is expressing, because he is very religious as well, just because he might be in a mental health crisis. And it might stem from his mom. But that aside, that's just the information I forgot to drop on you guys last night. Mr. Haley, what do you think? Because some are saying that it is unfair that he was cut behind this when, we've had other situations, things come up. They bring up the attempted Magic City night with the Atlanta Hawks that was canceled. Is it still okay, right, to, I guess some people feel, limit free speech? I subscribe to, if he had been a better player, he might have just gotten a hefty fine and suspension, or a more valued player, I should say, not a better player.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's cuttable, right? He's cuttable, he's waivable, whatever went down with that. I mean, one, it's chicken or the egg. Like, LeBron stays pretty, away from certain things. Jordan has always stayed, away. So when you are a real star, you get different type of coaching, like what to say, what not to say, what's damaging to the league, what's damaging to the team, what's damaging to other players, in addition to you. This is a guy that probably doesn't get that kind of conversation. And so he does think that it's freedom of speech, and we know it isn't. I think everyone knows I was in the Middle East. Well, it's a certain code of conduct when I'm in that land, and what to do and what not to do. When you are a professional player, you are part of a union, you sign a code of conduct, and there's certain things that we know you're going to get in trouble saying. And so, once again, I agree with you. If he was scoring 40 a game, he wouldn't have got cut. But if he was scoring 40 a game, he might have been more sensitive to his fandom. He might have been more sensitive to that kind of stuff. But since he isn't, he just wants to say what he wants to say and think there's no consequences. And I hope that he's able to live a great life. You know, that's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion, live a great life. But if you get back in the league, you got to score more, and you got to be a little bit more quiet and more sensitive to different lifestyles.
Nick Young said that it is not those comments that will keep him from ever getting back in the league. It's what he said about Steph Curry.
Yeah, you know, that was different. You know, I heard that, and you know, I have some Steph Curry history myself. You can't say that about Steph. You know, he's an icon, you know, and he's that standard of family and all that kind of stuff. You can't say that kind of stuff, and you shouldn't. Why? I mean, keep your own business, you know, stick to your own family.
Andy?
You know what I find interesting? I feel like at times we look for, you know, our public figures, whether they're entertainers, athletes, whatever. We want them to, you know, stand for something sometimes, right? A situation happens, and we would like for them to maybe chime in, right? But then sometimes when they do chime in, it's still like criticism there. I feel like it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It is, but I think, too, we as fans need to remember, and this is not to, you know, squash them down in any capacity, but remember why you enjoy them. It is not because they are politicians. It is not because they are civil rights leaders. And it's not to say that they can't have an opinion or be a leader amongst men. But I think sometimes we put this pressure or this expectation on people that are not really in position to do so. And then when they let us down or say something disappointing, we are all in, when really, though, of course, everyone has a right to opinion, this isn't someone that we should be looking to set the stage. It's nice if they have it, but the expectation of all, I think, is part of a big problem with this era of fandom. Andy?
I also find it interesting that when Kaepernick took his stance, there was a lot more support behind, you know, his situation. And I guess I get it, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't really, you know, outing a certain culture or whatnot, so to speak. But nobody was calling him crazy for the decisions that he made. I think there was more support behind his cause.
I mean, that's a relatability thing.
Mm-hmm.
Empathy, oftentimes for many people, extends to a situation that they feel they could find themselves in or recognize. And, you know, the right to love who you want, it, you know, is not something that often crosses individuals' minds, and they only subscribe to what we were told, you know, before. So on that, we're going to move to a story that has the most emotional weight, so to speak. Brandy, as mentioned, dropped her new memoir, Phases, yesterday, and people are already getting into the nitty-gritty, of course, looking for the details on certain things. And, of course, one of the most sought-after topics, in addition to what happened with her spiritual union with her daughter's father, is her relationship with Boyz II Men's Wanya Morris. And she's not romanticizing this relationship. She's revisiting it as a woman looking back at what happened when she was 16 years old and on tour with Boyz II Men, and Wanya was 22 at this time. It's what she now believes was manipulation, pressure, and a power imbalance she was too young to name in real time. She said that their dynamic, she looked to him as a mentor. She was excited to meet him. And at first, when he came into her life, he was regularly calling and checking on her, offering guidance. But she said things shifted once she joined him on the tour and they grew closer. She explained that their connection changed after filming the Brokenhearted video, describing an unspoken energy between the two of them. We moved around each other like opposing magnets, even as we kept finding ourselves drawn into each other's orbit, she wrote. Looking back, Brandy's now saying that the relationship, like I mentioned, was manipulation, that he weaponized her admiration, shaped the friendship into dependence, and her respect into desire. She said she felt swept up in a current she couldn't control. She also revealed that he would repeatedly say, "My girlfriend is 16," whenever they were alone, something she didn't fully process at the time, and admitted that she was too naive to realize that deep down inside, he didn't view her as special. She also shared that she originally wanted to wait until marriage, but felt pressure to move forward with him in that regard, and that she said that she believed that being with him, it would cement their bond and would make him happy. She said she told herself she was ready, that this was her choice, but the truth is, she said she felt as though she had no choice. I felt like saying no would meant losing him. And she described the time and the situation as him getting what he wanted from someone too young to recognize she was being taken advantage of, calling herself young and inexperienced. The situation came to an end when she found out Wanya was cheating with an assistant that was on the tour. Yeah, and I know the assistant, but that's a story for another time. So in this, some people are saying that, one, why is she revealing this now? I'm like, it's a memoir. You guys stop it. But they're pointing to her putting out the statement regarding the conversation with Shine, Cam, and Mace, right? They feel that these are on equal footing. And I feel as though this is a little different because she is sharing her experience and they were kind of sniggling on, the situation. But along those lines, what has come of this is a Breakfast Club interview with Boyz II Men from 2021, where the subject of Brandy was broached. A lot of people are upset in hindsight at this interview as they feel the Breakfast Club did not handle this situation appropriately, but we'll get into that too. Wanya told a very different story, and he said that, well, we'll let you hear what he said.
And you had a celebrity relationship. Were you the only one that was ever involved with a celebrity?
Who was he dating?
Wanya was banging Brandy.
Brandy.
He left her lonely, brokenhearted.
No, I didn't actually leave her.
He was teaching Reggie how to do videos.
You taught Reggie how to do the segment.
That's why they called you Squirt.
That's what I was thinking.
That's why you Squirt.
I mean, Brandy even said in her behind the music that you broke her heart because you fell in love with somebody else.
I mean, you only fall in love with somebody. You only fall out of love with somebody else if somebody makes you fall out of love. Mm-hmm. So if that was the situation, if that's what she said, then
that's political. I like that.
I can't contest to her view about it. I can just only live by my view.
Revolt.
They were saying she was really young when y'all dated.
Yeah, she was. Not that young. Not
jailbait.
No, that's what I'm saying. But that's why.
Questionable.
Hold on. But that's why I stopped it and said that she wasn't that young, because I don't want y'all to think Boyz II Men was no.
She said she was.
I was young too.
She said she was 15 and she had to keep it a secret because she was so young.
See, we did the thing. We did the thing when she was like 16, 17, around that time.
You was so you were still a boy too. You had.
I wasn't old. I wasn't
like
38 years old, nothing like that. I was old enough to. She was old enough to get it.
Okay. But was it legal in the state y'all was in?
I mean, we was always in different states. We was on tour.
They had a nomad relationship.
You know what I'm saying? We just, we didn't do it in the states that it was legal. It was illegal in.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Political.
No. It was, you know what I mean? It was a time. It was a relationship. It grew and it ungrew. I guess you could say that.
Squirt and it unsquirted.
Squirted and unsquirted. I like that.
So there's a lot there. Now, Brandy dealt with a lot of rumors coming up. People would call her fast, as they oftentimes do to young ladies. As mentioned with the Shine topic, Brandy was that girl, so everybody was in her face. Never Say Never went on to sell 16 million copies. Her first album sold 4 million copies. She was a cover girl. She had a Barbie. She was Moesha. So the way that conversation happened, and obviously it was the Breakfast Club, was a conversation that I would expect friends to maybe have about something like that. However, you're on the radio and you're joking about when you were with a 16-year-old girl acting as if you were just 18. Now, what I will say, and I'll actually say it when we come forward, is this wasn't uncommon in the 90s, 80s, 70s, etc. We'll get into it.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says the NFL will continue enforcing the Rooney Rule despite a potential lawsuit from Florida's Attorney General.
The Rooney Rule's been around a long time. We've evolved it. We've changed it.
The policy requires teams to interview minority candidates for top jobs, and Goodell says the league plans to engage on concerns that it could lead to race-based decision-making. Black Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has unveiled a new 53-unit affordable housing project for veterans in West LA near the VA Medical Center. The development is part of a larger push to expand housing, with thousands of units underway through her initiative to streamline approvals. And rapper Meagan Thee Stallion is recovering after becoming ill during her Broadway performance Tuesday night. She was taken to a hospital where doctors treated her for exhaustion, dehydration, and low metabolic levels. Her team says she has since been discharged and is expected to return to the show Thursday. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Stall in South LA. This is the 110 southbound at Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, blocking the left lane. Delays for the 110 southbound. Well, that's backing up overall out of Elysian Park away from Stadium Way. We're also looking at Los Feliz, South 5, delays from Los Feliz Boulevard in stretches all the way to the 605. It's also tough along the 605 is the southbound getting out of Whittier. Delays from Rose Hills to the 5, northbound slowing. In Norwalk from the 105 as you continue back towards Beverly Boulevard.
Visit Baja Fresh on Thursday, April 2nd for National Burrito Day. Grab a Baja Burrito with chicken for just $5. Fresh ingredients, bold flavor, one amazing deal. Available in-store only on April 2nd, so don't miss it. Eat well, live fresh at Baja Fresh. Valid at participating locations.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said the league has no plans to get rid of the Rooney Rule, a policy implemented in 2003 to promote diversity in the NFL. Goodell responded today to a complaint and threat from Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer. Uthmeyer wrote a letter to Goodell last week saying the Rooney Rule is discriminatory and violates state laws in Florida. Uthmeyer said he will file a civil rights lawsuit against the NFL if the Rooney Rule is not abolished. Goodell said he would be happy to sit down and talk with Uthmeyer, but he emphasized the Rooney Rule is staying. The Rooney Rule requires NFL teams to interview a certain number of minority candidates for head coaching and top-level positions. The policy does not force teams to hire a minority over white candidates, something Uthmeyer incorrectly believes the Rooney Rule is doing. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
We're at Doolin's on Crenshaw. It's a special place where the neighborhood comes together. Got the fried chicken, the catfish, the candied yams, the mac and cheese. It's all delicious. I'm Isaac Bryan. I represent the Crenshaw District in the California State Legislature, and I'm supporting Tom Steyer for governor of California. California is under attack, and we need a fighter who's going to come in on day one and stand up for California values and push back. That person is Tom Steyer. Tom and I have been fighting together for the better part of a decade. Tom is the only candidate supported by smart justice because Tom has stood on the front lines of racial justice, economic justice, and true solidarity. Tom is the real deal. He's the only candidate in the race with a comprehensive plan to make the billionaires and the corporations pay their fair share so we can fund things like universal health care and education. He means what he says is what we need. This is a moment when we've got to fight fire with fire, and I believe that fire is Tom Steyer.
Ad paid for by Steyer for Governor 2026.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles-bred Worker Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Worker Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage career track jobs. The LA Black Worker Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. And they are advocating for a fair deal for black workers in the new Los Angeles City Charter. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing, or learn about union apprenticeship programs and trade registries, please visit lablackworkercenter.org. That's lablackworkercenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis and build a more equitable Los Angeles. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Y'all know what this is. My mind was changed. I'm glad you made intoxicated. Your vibe's amazing. Feel the love in the air, baby, you know. In a rush, we've been at it where the time goes. You gonna have to show me now, cause I done had 1 too many drinks. And I know that you feel me the way I've been feeling you. And it's cool and true. You got a motive, and I think I like it. I know all your insecurities. I hope that you're open. My body gives notice that I want your energy. Girl, give me that.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. All right, listen. Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is now streaming on Disney Plus, and I've got a watch party starter kit to give away. That means a $100 gift card to grab dinner, dessert, snacks, whatever you need to lock in and watch the action go all the way up. So, what you need to do is be the first caller. 800-920-1580 to win. All right, listen. Andy's like, gosh. They're going to email me, Andy. All right. So, Damon, do you have any thoughts on this Brandy topic before we move along?
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, she's 16, he double deuce on the road. You got so many choices. Why a underage girl? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I didn't like that Breakfast Club thing, the way they was talking and flipping the context around. So not a good look for the culture.
Andy?
I feel like some blame got to go on the girls. I'm sorry. Y'all mature faster than us, right? But yet you know that you're dating somebody significantly older. Where's the accountability on your part?
I mean, but she's saying he told her, you know, you're special. Like, we're in this relationship.
Nah, don't matter. Don't matter. You know this person is older than you, period. And this is not even Brandy. This is for all the girls who was 15, 16, 17 years old dating somebody who was 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
You're not wrong.
I don't disagree with Andy. I don't.
But, right, in this instance, no matter, like, this is the problem with this topic and why, like, it is very sensitive, because the girls are given the majority of the responsibility in this instance, right? And they are children dealing with an adult. So in theory, the adult is the one that should be the pushback. Mm-hmm. Kids are going to get into things. We all thought we were more mature than we were at a younger age, that we had a handle on something. And as I frequently said, especially in the era of the 80s and 90s, women were encouraged to date older. It wasn't as taboo. I'm not saying that it was okay, but it wasn't as taboo. You think I listed off all of the songs. Rick James, 17, Alexander O'Neal, Innocent, Young and Tender, Keith Sweat, You May Be Young But You're Ready, BBD, Backstage, Underage. Let's be real. It was encouraged. And girls were blown up to make their heads think that they were more mature for entering in these situations. That's exactly what grooming is. I'm not saying they were without fault or didn't know. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that at 15 years old, right, and you're in different scenarios, there's different types of things, you know? It's not just the girls in the hood. It was the white girls in suburbia, the super rich ones. Like, it's not an exclusive thing. It was the culture. Let me get to some of this comments, because it's a lot of them. Michael Irvin Walker says, didn't Brandy lie that she was married to her first child's father, trying to be an innocent good girl? And as Jill said, young 16-year-old girls in the 80s and 90s always went with young men 3 to 6 years older. She did, and she talks about that in the book. And she said that she felt pressure because of sponsorship deals that would have dropped because she was pregnant and unmarried. She admits that, yeah, I lost them anyway. But, you know, that was the mindset. Image was so very important in the 90s, especially people down her and say, oh, you know, she tried to be a good girl. She tried to do too much. That was how she was able to maneuver through the industry. And I know a lot of people are asking, where were her parents? Where was her mother? Sonia was her manager. And in spite of this, we all know how young girls can be with young love. I tell you, I had a whole life my parents weren't aware of. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe not that, but I had a, you know, there were things.
Most of us do. Most of us
right. And so I feel like people don't understand the pressure that Brandy was under at that time. You look at her and you guys know that she was an icon of the time. I've listed off her credits several times. What kind of pressure is that on a young black woman, that whatever she does reflects on the next black singer trying to come up and the following one, because they make a judgment off of that. You think that's over? We just talked about that the new romantic comedy with Reginae, I can't remember his last name, you know, the guy from Bridgerton, and Halle Bailey, the romantic comedy, they're like, if this doesn't do well, it's going to have an impact on future black romantic comedies. We talk about racism, but then we don't, when it's in action and how it impacts us in not so obvious ways, we seem to forget that. And again, it's not an excuse, it's just life. Do young girls do some things sometimes that are out of pocket? Do they make bad decisions? Absolutely. But the point is, he was 22. He knew better too, and he knew more so what the risks were. Obviously, still does, because on that interview from 5 years ago, his group member was trying to make it clear and clear it up. You see, he didn't say how old he was. He said not that much older. And 20 to 26, I mean, generally it's not, but these things happen. Okay.
Yeah. No, once again, he's an adult. She isn't. Child endangerment.
At that time. All right, we're gonna come back to Meagan Good. We're gonna skip ahead because I think that this is an interesting segment, and I think that you guys will be interested in talking about this. For All Up in the Business Wednesday this week, we're gonna be hyper local and very real, because the question is simple: how is Inglewood hosting the World Cup, gearing up for Super Bowl and the Olympics, sitting next to SoFi, the YouTube Theater, Intuit Dome in the Forum, the new entertainment district in Inglewood, and still letting historic Market Street feel boarded up, quiet, and economically disconnected from all of that shine? There was an article that was in the Los Angeles-Times that covered how Market Street has not benefited as of yet from everything that is happening around SoFi, as promised. When we come forward, we'll get into it and hear some thoughts from Damon as he sat on the Inglewood Chamber of Commerce at one point in time. Yep. So we're going to get some insight into that. Okay.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass, and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-478-6430 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-478-6430. That's 800-478-6430. What do you have to lose? Call 800-478-6430. Again, 800-478-6430.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. These are hard times for housing in America. Too many in our community face barriers to safe housing, behavioral health care, and affirming spaces for healing, particularly those impacted by poverty and stigma or incarceration. Rooted in South LA, Ahmad supports impacted communities through housing, wellness, and leadership development. Ahmad provides culturally responsive, peer-led support from transitional housing and mental health services to leadership development and youth empowerment. They offer safe, affirming houses for youth, transgender women, and formerly incarcerated individuals. Therapy and peer support with a focus on healing trauma in Black communities. HIV prevention and care, free testing, education, and wraparound services for whole person wellness. Standing in the gap with health, housing, and hope. Reach out to Ahmad Institute at 323-569-1610. That's 323-569-1610. Or visit amaad.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So, Damon, we mentioned that there's a lot happening in Inglewood. There have been these grants that were put out I believe that they were $250,000. There was some controversy on who got them, who didn't. The grants were to help update the facades of certain businesses and make interior improvements. There's been some businesses like Stuff I Eat, that's what it's called, which is a vegan restaurant that
Good
had been in
food,
the
too.
community.
Yeah.
It had been in the community for years, and she is closing or may have already closed because the rent has gone up. The building was sold and the rent has gone up, and she was priced out, and the owners didn't want to work with them. So why do you think it is that Market Street, downtown Inglewood, has been left out of this economic boom that's just a couple of blocks east?
That money's hard to get. You know, we always hear the headlines, you know, X millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of grants and all that kind of stuff. That money's very hard to get. I will say I own a business that's located in Inglewood. I grew up Inglewood adjacent. I know a lot of people. I was on the Inglewood Chamber of Commerce. I was on the executive board, all that kind of stuff. That money is hard to get a hold of. It's not impossible, but you got to be very diligent. And if you're an entrepreneur, you might not know those angles of how to get grants and how to do all of this paperwork. If you, Babette, and I love that restaurant, she just know how to cook, and she know how to, you know, buy groceries and do all that kind of stuff. She might not have the capacity to do some of that. And I think that one of the things, we don't get a lot of help. Market Street businesses did not get any assistance, help on how to access those dollars. Because I know, being on Inglewood Chamber of Commerce, there's other entities that come in and have the infrastructure and they have the support and know how to get to those dollars, even though they just new there. They might not be of the community. They might not be who you think they look like. But I would say that, you know, that's it. It's not. It's very hard to access and really be a part of everything that's happening in Inglewood. It is very hard. You got to work hard. It's not easy. Don't believe the headlines and think it's easy.
Andy?
Be honest with me, Damon. Black folk getting bought out so the white folks could come in here and take over that area, considering the Olympics and all that jazz.
That's not true. They are not getting bought out. Bought out implies there's an exchange of currency. That's not happening.
Okay, if not bought out, I don't know what the term is, but like you said, they're raising
They are
the rent.
exiting. They are exiting. All right, so I want to make sure, because I have a fiduciary responsibility, right, on this mic. What we know is that a disproportionate of black businesses are exiting Inglewood at a time where you would think they'd be double downing, the time where you think there'll be more investment, that more would be better for restaurant eateries and things like that. And that's not happening.
Why are they exiting?
Because
rent is high, right?
Rent. I think it's a combination of things. I think the rent is high. I think that there are renovations that have been, the status quo.
No. Well, let's look at, so a lot of them rent, don't own, right? So that's why if you own, your mortgage isn't going up, even though the property value is going up. And so it's flat. So that's the first thing. When you think of rent, that means you don't own. So you like that, right? Secondly, it's still this level of education. It's still this level of being informed and being trained on how to access all of that. So now you got to look at, okay, what kind of support structures do we have, right? You got to look at a Chamber of Commerce. You got to look at LA Urban League or a GLAC and all of these kind of black entities that would support us, and they too are struggling. So it's really a tough one unless you aligned with people who understand how the game is played. And it's a treacherous game out there.
It is indeed. Are there anything, because we hear about this over and over again, Doolin's is one of the restaurants that was awarded one of the
grants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, they have another location. There's a couple of others that they mentioned, Randy's Donuts and Chinese, not the Randy's Big Donut, but
another little smaller shop that also serves Chinese food that had been in the community for years. Shout out to Urban Spinster. She says Stuff I Eat closes April 26th. Is there anything that they can do, or that without like a grant that they can do to drum up more business or to make themselves more appealing? Because are people, I'm not sure what restaurants are within the vicinity, within like SoFi, the little Hollywood
the
Park
corridor,
community
yeah.
that they have right there. Are there any?
Nile Bar, the Wood Barbecue spot.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two off the top that I can.
So
Red Table.
They
Soulful
seem to be doing okay. I haven't heard anything about them not. I haven't been personally, but are people coming early for concerts or for games and utilizing those type of services like they would at LA Live?
The proximity is a little different in LA Live, but Inglewood Market Street, as long as I've lived in LA, has always been a destination. And so when you talk about redoing the facade and things like that, is a concerted effort to say, who cares about Market Street? There's a caring there because there are grants and things like that. Now, who cares about the type of business owners that are going to be there, that are going to fortify and provide the culture, the energy, and all that kind of stuff? And so what can you do if you have a business and you're still looking to survive or thrive on Market Street is get real information, understand how to get the grants, not that they're just out there. And then what kind of businesses, complementary business, 'cause you can't have a bunch of restaurants.
Right.
They'll cannibalize each other. So what are the complementary things that you need to have there? Is it coffee? Is it tea? Is it boba? I don't know, but is it that kind of thing? Because then you have a collection where people can say, hey, when you're going to SoFi, when you're messing around with the World Cup or whatever, all these various things, roll through Market Street, because they're putting a tram from Florence all the way to SoFi and into a dome. And they're shutting down businesses. That's public information. Peep that. I think it was a lot of businesses that are shutting down.
That's why the Randy's Donuts got the grant, because one of those stations is going to be where they were at I guess it would be the north end of Market Street.
Yes. So you gotta, them city council meetings. I know it's tough because they got them on Mondays during the day when a lot of people.
Exactly. Conspiracy.
Well, I don't know if it's a conspiracy, but is voting. Go down there and storm the Capitol, so to speak.
Andy, do we have time to play the Meagan clip?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so Meagan Good got into the rumors that she bleached her skin and why it hurt her feelings. Let's hear what she had to say. This is from The Breakfast Club. Again.
But when did you get to that place when you could let things bounce off your back?
It was the skin bleaching thing.
Don't say I'm stupid. I have no idea what you're talking about skin bleaching. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
So I went to this esthetician in LA who was helping me with like anti-aging things.
Mm-hmm.
And then and she had like, these soap bars and all this kind of stuff, and the anti-aging was like beautiful. So then she was like, well, I just want to fix like some of the dark spots that you have. And I'm like, no, it's kind of like natural contour. And she was like, no, but your skin will be so clear, da-da-da-da-da. I start using the product. I instantly see that I'm getting lighter. And she's like, don't worry, just give it a few weeks. All your color will come back, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
I give it a few weeks and I look like so pale and so crazy. And then I go to shoot this show here in New York, and I'm at a premiere, and a picture was taken where it was dark around me, but I was blown out. So I just look white. I just look crazy. As a black woman, I would never do that to myself.
Yeah.
And it just broke my heart to think that like young black girls would think that I did that, or like I don't like myself. I was like, why would I do that all of a sudden at 39 years old? That's crazy. But what it was is the backlash that I was seeing, and I actually don't even know if it was as big as I thought it was, but because it was so humiliating, and because in the past when something is wrong, I would be able to go, oh, well, here's what this is, or this is not true. Now, if you don't like it, I don't really care, but at least you know the truth. I couldn't do anything. I was like, I look crazy. Like,
so you guys got the gist of it. She's saying a bad experience with an esthetician. And listen, what I can tell you is any products containing vitamin C, brightening products, that's going to lighten your complexion. So she may not have known. But
it's another case of, and we say this all the time, rarely do we do it, you never know what somebody's going through. So we got to kind of, be a little more considerate, perhaps. I don't know if that's real. Listen, Damon, thank you as always for dropping by on Wednesdays. We love it. The VIPs love it. Remind the people where they can come see you, find you on social media, all of that goodness.
Social media, Damon Haley, DamonHaley. Get at me.
That's it.
That's it. It's easy. Yeah, it's easy. No blue dot, no blue star, nothing. Just hit me.
All right, you guys, make sure that you are locked in tomorrow for Front Row Thursday. We have a guest coming that...
I'm coming back.
You coming back, DH? I don't think you guys, this is going to be an entertaining conversation tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure, an in-studio guest. Let me clarify.
Okay.
All right. And you can lock in with me at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Coming up next is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. Back at it tomorrow.
Brown skin up against my brown skin. Need some every now and then. Ooh. Every time you come around, something magnetic pulls me and I can't get out. Disoriented, I can't tell my up from down. All I know is that I wanna lay you down. Every time I lay you in,
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The Supreme Court heard arguments in the case of a black man on Mississippi's death row who says his sentence was unconstitutional due to racial bias in jury selection.
The trial court's unrectified failings in this prosecution, also riddled with other misconduct, yielded a jury selected with discriminatory taint.
Attorney Joseph Perkovich argued that prosecutors removed